Guess what, guys and girls? I've lost my bloody drone. I was at the foot of Needles Eye Arete, which is a grade 3 scramble, and I put the drone up and I was flying around the Needles Eye, like flying in and then flying out, and I went to do like a half circle fly around of it, and I just nicked a rock on the other side and it's crashed down, and I've spent the last hour scratching around trying to find it. DJI have a feature called Find My Drone, which makes the drone bleep, but it was echoing on the other side of the gully, so I was going up the wrong side, and I've managed to get close to it and the bleeping has stopped now. So the aircraft is disconnected from the controller and I have no idea where it is. It is somewhere around here. So this is the first time that I've crashed my drone. An hour and a half from sunset. I've got a long way to go to get back down to the car, so I'm going to give it another half an hour trying to find it. If not, I'm going to have to come back tomorrow. Shit. This is a really inaccessible place. Have a look. Heather, grass, bilberries everywhere. Righty, so I am walking off the mountain, minus the drone. I've spent 2 hours looking for it. I initially heard the beeps because I hit the Find My Phone feature, Find My Drone feature. But then when they stopped, could not find it anywhere. So I've looked absolutely everywhere, but it's getting dark now, so if you have a look, I'm going to make my way back to the car and then come back tomorrow. I don't really care so much about the drone because I've got an insurance policy. I can replace it for £100, but it's got a memory card in the drone, and I've been here for 6 days camping. 6 days worth of scrambling and hiking. Drone footage, I've got everything on there. Criblem, up to Pen Olwen. I've been up around the North Tower doing a little video showing how to get around the North Tower. I've done drone footage of me on the Canon, drone footage over the campsite I was staying at to do a review of that. So 6 days of drone footage is gone, and that cannot be easily replicated because we're getting to the end of summer now. So to get all that footage again might take me more than one trip up here, 2, 3 depending on the weather. So this is a real disaster. Right, morning folks. I was up about 7:30 this morning, packed my tent up, had a breakfast, and I've made my way back to where I was last night. So I got down to the car in the dark last night. Bit of a trek getting in again. I don't know how well you can see that, but the red dot is the drone and the blue dot is me, and I'm closing in. About 5-10 meters away. Right, good news and bad news. I've been at this for about 3 hours now. I've found exactly where the drone is. I can't reach it. I've scrambled to the top and tried to get down. It's on like a grassy, heavy slope, if you will. Tried to climb down, not safe. Tried to come in from the side, can't do that. Tried to climb up from the bottom. I got to within about 3 meters of it. Can't reach it, it's not safe. I'm slipping all over the place and I'm having to dig my nails in. Look at the state of my fingernails, digging my nails into the dirt to try and pull myself up and down. So I'm going home without the drone. I'm gonna have to come back and abseil down from the top, which probably means not today. That probably means the drone's gonna get soaking wet, but I might be able to recover the memory card and get a replacement drone. So oh, what a palaver, what an absolute nightmare, but there's no way that I can reach that. I made a really good attempt to get out within 3 meters of it, but I just can't reach it. Right guys, I'm back. I've made my way up onto the mountain. I think I found my drone. It's just down there. So I've got 60 meters of rope doubled up, as you can see. And that's left me about 5 meters spare on the bottom. So here's my attempt at abseiling down to retrieve my drone. Now I'm going to be honest with you, I've only abseiled twice before in my life, so I'm hardly an expert at this, but I've spent ages setting this up and trying to get a good anchor. So here's my setup. Okay, I've got two anchors. I've got this wide one that goes all the way around this block, and another one here. I've equalized them. So I've got my two carabiners, opposites, they're not parallel to each other, they're opposites. I've got 9.8mm rope. Moving down, I have got my belay device, which is all looped correctly. I have my extender onto my belt, just so I can keep the belay device away from my friction nut. Okay, so here's my leg strap carabiner onto my friction nut, which I release by putting down, and if I slip, that will tighten. You can see I loosen that off, and then that will tighten on its own. So if my belay fails, I have got that to rely on as a secondary. That is not primary, that is just a backup. I'm not going to be relying on that, but that's in and that's pretty secure. I've checked that, it's holding my weight. Right, so I'm going to get my helmet on, do a couple of final checks, and then make my way down. It's quite a long way down, so I'm not really looking forward to this, to be honest. Well, that's what the rope looks like. Oop. And that's what I just went down. That is what I just abseiled down, and the drone isn't there. I've climbed all the way up there from the top and looked down. I've been in the gully, I've been up the back. It is definitely not down there. So when I was here a few days ago, there was a scrambler on the next arete, and he said that he could see it down there. But I've just been down there and it's not down there. So either he was wrong and he couldn't see it, or he's nabbed it, or somebody else has nabbed it. It's a really quiet area here. I can't imagine anybody else would come up here and see it. I think I've lost my drone. Right guys, so I am halfway down the mountain and no drone. So this is the third and final time that I'm coming off of the mountain now without the drone. I abseiled down once, I then moved everything over to the other side, abseiled down there. That drone is nowhere to be found. So when I was here the other day, there was a scrambler who said he thought he could see it exactly where I scrambled down. Sorry, exactly where I abseiled down. Also, that is the exact location for the coordinates I've got on the map. It's saying it is right there, and I've had a real good look around. I've looked up at that big pinnacle as well to see if it got stuck somewhere up there. It is nowhere to be found. So I'm absolutely gutted, but I've just got to accept the inevitable. So I've spent an absolute fortune trying to find this drone because I've had to drive all the way back up here. I only had 15 meters of rope at home. So that was a 25 meter drop over the edge of that rock there. So my 60 meter rope doubled up, had about 5 meters left on there. So £100 for the rope, obviously fuel coming up here, and I'm gonna have to buy a new drone, couple of £100, new memory card. And because I really like having drone footage on my YouTube videos, I'm gonna have to redo at least some of the routes that I've done on those 6 days that I was up here having my little break. So some of the routes I can probably do without the drone footage, but some of them will definitely need it. Absolutely. I mean, I've got drone footage of me standing on the top of the cannon at sunset with the drone flying past, and there's no way that I can recreate that with just a GoPro. So I'm going to have to go and redo these scrambling routes again, which is obviously another trip up here, staying at a campsite again, and all the associated costs. So I think this silly little mistake of me flying my drone sideways when the drone doesn't have impact sensors on the side of the drone has cost me about £1,000 so far, and several days of having to redo stuff I've already done. So I'm obviously absolutely gutted. Trying to look at the positives here, you know, I haven't abseiled for 12 years. This is the first time that I've actually set it up myself without having somebody watching me, and that was fine. You know, my technique might not be brilliant, I know, probably not leaning back enough, but I felt pretty safe on there. I had the prusik in one hand, the rope in the other. It was absolutely fine, you know. At no point did I feel unsafe. I actually felt so safe that I went and done it again. I moved everything over, put it in 2 new anchors on the other side and done it again. So at least that's a positive out of it. There's a bit of a refresh for me on that one. So I am going to publish this video. If anyone's watching this, could you give me a critique on my setup for the abseiling? Because let's face it, it's not going to get better if I'm making a mistake and I keep doing the same mistake. So I use 6mm cordlet, which I tied into 2 different anchors. I equalized the cord, put in 2 carabiners facing opposite directions. The rope I used was really flexible, 9.8mm I think it was. I put that into the 2 carabiners. I then clipped in my belay device, which you saw on the footage there. I then had a prusik knot as well, and that was fine. You know, going down it felt absolutely fine. The prusik knot, I tested it before I went down, put all my weight on there, that was absolutely fine. Looking back at it, the only thing I can think of that I should do differently, I should have been tied in first. So I was putting all this stuff on, but I wasn't really tying myself in because I was quite far away from the edge. I think if I was any closer to the edge, I'd want to be hooked in first with like a safety sort of lance. I don't know what the name is for it, but I think that's probably something that I should do first if I'm ever doing this again, rather than flapping around with everything and potentially falling off. So but I would be interested in a critique. So if you're a climber or if you are an instructor, have a look at my footage and let me know what could I do better, what was wrong with it. Let me know what I can do better. As I say, it's if I've made a mistake, there's no point keep making the same mistake over and over. So feel free to leave a critique. I don't have soft skin. So on that note, I'm going to go down to my car with my towel between my legs and go home and order a replacement drone. I'm absolutely gutted, absolutely gutted. Yeah, what else can I say? I've spent probably the best part of 8 hours, no, with the walk-in, probably 10 hours looking for that drone. Oh, there you go. Lessons learned, hey. 1, don't fly the drone sideways when I haven't got a good eyesight with it in line of sight. 2, keep 60 meters of rope, a harness, some cord, some slings and whatnot in the boot of my car, so if I ever lose anything like a drone or a GoPro or something, it's not the end of the world. Just go to the car, get the kit, get back up, find an anchor, make my way down and get it, rather than all this palaver. I've had to go back and forth because I went away for 2 days, which means I've had to drive all the way back and I didn't have the rope. And then I think the final lesson for me to learn is that I familiarised myself with the DJI drone Find My Drone feature, because it did give me the coordinates straight away and it was bleeping, and I know that that drone was around there somewhere, so I think somebody's taken it. And if I could just have got to it a little bit sooner, if I knew the drone, the features on that drone, I wouldn't have had all this drama, because I didn't really know how it worked. I didn't know how to access the flight logs or anything on the drone, or find the coordinates for the last known place of the drone. I didn't know any of that until I sort of read it up when I got back to the campsite. So, you know, I'm a little bit more familiar with how that drone works now, so that's a good thing. That's it. On that note, I'm going to say goodbye. Sorry if this one's a bit of a downer. Not a lot of footage to share with you either, because I haven't got a bloody drone. All right, I'll see you on the next one.